we're going to be replacing the thermostat. Actually, the thermostat housing. There was a leak coming out from the thermostat, plus the customer had a leak from the bypass, and that's what they did with the bypass. It's in one of my videos on how to do the bypass, but things you're going to need is 10 millimeter. Yeah, I'm using Craftsman ratchet. But this is the part that we're going to be replacing. There is two thermostat, just in case you guys think that there isn't. This is the thermostat housing right here. O-ring. There's an O-ring that's on the bottom bracket. This one goes right here. There's another thermostat that goes right here with the inlet. Most people would change this one, will never change this one. This will create pressure and will create that overheating effect, inside the engine, and you will never suspect that the engine's overheating because, again, this is flowing freely. You got coolant and everything flowing freely, but at the end, this is the part that failed on you right here. So it's going to be 10 millimeter bolts, and I got the bolts right here. So this is a used one. That's one of the holes right there. That's one of the other holes holding this thermostat, and then there's another one holding the bracket onto the body. And I'm gonna do it in the two sets of video. It's only me right now working, so there's going to be a couple of things that you're going to be removing. Let's see, try to get most of it already done. The last time that I was here, when I looked at the customer's vehicle, so maybe it will help. For me, I'm going to say that this is going to be on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the difficulty, and I'm going to do it this way because a lot of people have been complaining about, leaving me the little, ignorant comments. So I'm going to try to get to it without removing all of this, but again, I believe this is a pop-up, if I'm correct, or maybe screw down right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's probably two screws that I got to remove. But there goes your thermostat housing, and that's usually the one that they usually replace, which is the bottom one, going down from the bottom heater hose down to their unit. That's usually the one that everyone replaces. They usually don't replace the other thermostat that's going into the engine, and that will cause an overheating effect. And again, you will never notice because you will be like, I just replaced the thermostat. What's going on? But the engine is still overheating because certain areas of the engine is not getting coolant in the proper passage, especially if that thermostat is locked. If it's open, you lock out. If it's closed, that's where the problem comes, because intake is made out of plastic, and where the thermostat, where it's located, as you guys can see right here, it's located right in the front. This is the other thermostat everyone changes. So if you look right down there, look at where that body meets the engine, and it's literally right on this bank right here. So it's on the intake side. So imagine you trying to get cool air, the little problems that it's causing with fuel consumption. Because that thermostat is locked, and now the air is hot, and can't cool the engine down quick enough, and the engine is beginning to overheat, and you get that warp effect coming from the head gasket. And once you do that, there's a lot of things you're going to have to do besides the head gasket replacement. Why the engine is the top cover is apart, might as well do the timing belt. And that right there is a lot of money for a lot of people. That is going. If you're mechanically inclined, you can do it by all means. I'm not saying this is out of your league, but for anybody else, they will literally throw a hit fit and dispose of the car. But one of the things I always say, and someone else always tells me this, and I keep hearing other people repeat the same thing too, especially in the tech world. If a man made it, a man can fix it. That was my era. Today, if a man or a woman made it, a man and a woman can fix it. Either which way, whoever made it, both sexes can repair it. So, any females out there, you can do this. This is not hard. As you guys see, the other one, you had the two hoses, and those two hoses literally line up with the heater core right there. So just clamp it. The person who removes that, again, was just in destructive mode, just trying to get it out. That hose will stick on pretty good, and you may need a pick to go behind it and loosen it up just from it. Or that can be saved. We know how to save it, but that's for another. I'm gonna shoot that for another video on how to do that and repair that when it's done like that. That's very soft metal, and it fuses with the rubber, and twisting and turning, sometimes getting a pliers and everything don't help. So get the what do you call it? The pliers to remove hoses. It's already curved and shaped, so that way you're not destroying things like that right there. As you guys can see, the heater core right there is messed up right there. Let's see if I can zoom in if it allows me to. So again, tools you're going to need are 10 millimeters Phillips. What do you call it? To remove this out the way. You really don't have to remove too much. You may want to just get this out right here. So again, you may need to get down there and let's see if it can pick it up. You may have to remove that screw right there. There's another one right there to remove this. I'm assuming, don't quote me on it. It may be locked on something else. Again, this is the 2.4 liter engine on this Dodge Caliber, and this is the 07. I believe an 08 is also compatible to this, and I believe they switch off. Just be careful. This is the fuel line right here. It's made out of this PVC plastic, and you can break it or damage it. So be very careful. What do you call it? So that way, doesn't fracture. Depending on the age and the mileage of the vehicle, we text sometimes, no matter how professional we are, sometimes we go and we say we remove this and this happens to touch that, and because it was ready to break, I finally put a stress and it breaks, and now I got to pay for it, or I got to replace it. So again, just be careful. Let's see if I can zoom out. Sorry guys, it wasn't letting me zoom out. Just be careful with that wire, that fuel line that's coming from behind back there. So when you remove this right here, be gentle on how you remove it, especially back here. As you can see, it goes back here. So just be very gentle with that. And once you got that out the way, like I said, an extension, I take it out like that. At the yard, it's different at the yard. You tear everything apart. For me, replacing it in the customer, I gotta now be a little bit neat about it, and it's taking me a little bit longer because I'm doing this video, but if not, I would have been done by now. And bubbling the system out, and probably even repair that heater core to make sure that heater core wasn't the issue. But again, I want to do continue with the bypass and perform that bypass on the outside. So when I stick it in, as you guys can see, it's very close to the radiator and stuff. So I want to make sure that I have it a little bit clear, and there is a little bit clearance. So if I can do it a little bit better, I'll do it. This was just to get the customer to go back and return home. So we'll take care of this and address this now that there's other issues going on. So again, just be careful around this area. So the electrical components right here. So when you're working, just be gentle, especially around the computer. That is your main brain right there. So again, difficulty on this, I'm going to say it's going to be a 1 or 2. 2 for the newbies, 1 for any professional or advanced person, but anyone who's in the beginning stage and professional. Again, this is a 1 for anyone who don't know anything about the vehicle and is looking to do this. Again, this is going to be a difficulty of 2. So let's see if I can remove this. I gotta get the flashlight and stuff, but again, I'm just trying to do this on the fly. I will return and do the second video, as this is removed and I'm already loosened up everything, so I'm gonna show you what's going on and what I mean about this little section right here. And again, the gaskets that have to be replaced, you want to make sure that you replace these. So that way it's not leaking or anything. So just make sure that all of that gets replaced. Replace your thermostat. Make sure that thermostat is replaced also. Replace both front and back. So the front one is this one and the back one is this one right here. So front and back, replace both. Every time you replace the thermostat, replace both of them. Because again, let me remove this out the way so you guys can see how that goes into the engine. Coming up from the top feeds all of that whole contraction right there, and it splits off, going to different areas, going into the engine right here. This is feeding majority of the heater hoses. The heater hose coming back to the return. And this is going to the back of the engine, somewhere on the bottom of the back where the engine is actually flowing back up this way. So think about that. This is on the back side, and if you don't replace this little one right here again, will cause a lot of problems. We'll warp this out, heat pressure. There's a lot of things, and remember these little clips right here on the thermostat. Let's see. They go into a little groove, as you guys can see, the little groove right there. They will sit in perfectly right in there like that. Okay, so just make sure you got that in the groove, so when you replace it, the same way you took it out is the same way you put it back in. And again, it's just 3 screws, 10 millimeters, 1, 2, and 3.